something happens around 4 months that nobody fully warns you about. Your baby, who had maybe started to find some kind of sleep rhythm, suddenly falls apart, waking every hour, refusing to be put down, impossible to settle. And you are back to the beginning, except now you're more tired than you were in the beginning. And somewhere in the fog of it, you start to wonder if you did something wrong, if you created a bad habit, if you somehow broke your baby. You didn't. What is happening right now has nothing to do with what you did or didn't do. It's happening because your baby's brain just went through one of the most significant upgrades it will ever experience. Let me explain what that actually means. When your baby was born, they slept in 2 basic stages. Active sleep, which looks like the REM sleep adults have, and quiet sleep. That's it. Just 2 stages, cycling back and forth. And because newborn sleep is relatively simple, a lot of newborns can fall asleep easily and stay down for longer stretches. Not all of them, but many. And then around 4 months, everything changes. Your baby's sleep architecture, the actual structure of how they move through sleep, begins to mature into something much closer to adult sleep. 4 distinct stages. Light sleep, deeper sleep, even deeper sleep, and REM. All cycling continuously through the night. This is a permanent change. It doesn't revert. And here's where it gets complicated. In adult sleep cycles, we also partially wake up between cycles. Every single night. We just don't remember it because we're experienced sleepers. We know how to find our pillow, adjust our position, and slip back under with ever becoming fully conscious. Your baby has no idea how to do that yet. And there's something else. Babies fall asleep in conditions. Specific conditions. Being rocked. Being fed. Being held against a warm body. The sound of your voice. The motion of a car. Whatever those conditions were when they first fell asleep, their brain expects those same conditions to still be present when they surface at the end of each sleep cycle. If they fell asleep in your arms and they wake up in a crib, to their nervous system, that is an emergency. The safe thing is gone. The conditions changed while they were unconscious. And they have one way to signal that. Developmental psychologists call this a sleep association. And it's not a bad habit you created. It's your baby's brain working exactly as it's supposed to. It's just working in a way that makes nighttime very complicated right now. Here's something else worth knowing. The 4-month regression doesn't arrive alone. It tends to hit at the same time as a cluster of other developmental leaps. Your baby is becoming dramatically more aware of the world around them. Social smiling is coming online. They're discovering their hands. They're starting to reach with intention. Rolling attempts are beginning. Their brain is doing an enormous amount of new work during the day. And that same brain needs to process all of that during sleep, which means sleep is busier, lighter, and more easily disrupted than it was a month ago. This is not a step backwards. It's what a 4-month developmental leap actually looks like from the inside. It just happens to look from the outside like everything is broken. So what actually helps? The first thing is understanding that there's no quick fix here. I know that's not what you want to hear. But parents who expect to solve the 4-month regression in 3 days tend to spiral harder when it doesn't work. This is a phase that typically lasts 2 to 6 weeks. Some babies move through it faster. Some take longer. But it does move. What tends to help is a consistent bedtime routine. Not because routines are magic, but because your baby's brain is now sophisticated enough to start reading cues. Bath, lotion, feeding, song, dark room. Done in the same order, at roughly the same time, every night. The routine becomes a signal. Sleep is coming. The nervous system begins to prepare. It doesn't work overnight, but over time, it builds something. A predictable context for sleep that your baby can start to rely on. The second thing that helps is lowering your own expectations for this stretch. Not forever, just for now. If the baby sleeps on you and that gets you 3 hours, take the 3 hours. If feeding them back to sleep is the only thing that works at 2 a.m., do it. Survival mode is not failure. Survival mode is just what this phase looks like. You are not setting permanent patterns by getting through a hard stretch however you can. Babies' sleep continues to develop and change for the entire first 2 years. What works at 4 months doesn't have to be what you're still doing at 8 months. One more thing. If someone in your life, a parent, a neighbor, someone on the internet, is telling you that your baby should be sleeping through the night by now and that you need to let them cry it out, you don't have to take that advice. The American Academy of Pediatrics does not recommend sleep training before 6 months. And even after that point, the timing and method are entirely your call. There is no single right way to navigate this. There is only what works for your baby, in your family, with the resources you actually have. That's it. That's the whole standard. Here's what I want you to hold on to if you're in the thick of this right now. The 4-month regression is hard because your baby's brain is doing something genuinely hard. It's reorganizing. It's growing. It's building the architecture it will use for the rest of its life. The sleep disruption is the noise of that construction. And on the other side of it, a baby who is more alert, more interactive, more communicative than they've ever been. A baby who will look at you and smile in a way that is completely different from anything you've seen before. That version of your baby is very close. You are almost there. Follow this channel if you want to understand what's coming next. Every week we break down a different piece of what your baby is experiencing so you can stop feeling blindsided and start feeling prepared. We'll see you in the next one.